It's time for another cozy mystery and a delicious birria taco recipe. Stay tuned. Welcome back to my channel. So let's start putting together this delicious birria taco dish along with my review of this cozy Mexican mystery titled Don't Talk About Murder. Let's get right into it. Let's check it out. Okay, so first things first, you're gonna wanna get at least between 4 to 5 guajillo chiles. You're gonna wanna destem them and remove all of the seeds from the inside. You're gonna place them in a bowl or in a container, and you're gonna let them steep in hot water for about 3 to 5 minutes. Now, let me introduce you to Emily Monk and Uncle Cornelius. These are our two protagonists of this story and Don't Talk About Murder. They are of Mexican descent and they're traveling into Mexico during a holiday traditional time that is celebrated. It is called Dia de los Muertos. It is the Day of the Dead festival. Now, a little side story about the Day of the Dead or Dia de los Muertos. This is an ancient Aztec custom of celebrating ancestors with All Souls Day, a holiday that the Spanish invaders brought to Mexico starting in the early 1500s. Now, the holiday, which is celebrated mostly in Mexico on November 1st and 2nd, is like a family reunion, except dead ancestors are the guests of honor. Now, although it's traditionally celebrated in Mexico, of course, for those Mexican Americans here in the United States, it is also celebrated and part of their culture. Now we're gonna move on to our meat. Normally, you can make birria tacos with beef or chicken. I had this roast tenderloin in my freezer. I'm using what I have on hand, so I'm gonna use this. So I made some slits in the front and in the back of the tenderloin, and now I'm gonna season it. I'm using some tajin, some salt, pepper, some adobo, sofrito, and a little bit more spices. So you can use all of the Mexican flavors that you would like to use. And just make sure you season your meat well. And then once you season it, we're gonna make our sauce with the guajillo chiles. Back to Emily and her uncle Cornelius. The camaraderie between these two, I love it throughout the story. She's a little quiet, a little meek. He's more outgoing, outspoken, and just the banter between the two makes the story all the worthwhile reading. Just to hear all of the shenanigans and the things that they have to go through, as they are the sleuths in the story and they're trying to figure out a mystery. I just love the flow of Mona Marple's story, how it just flows in. It's not too heavy, it's not too subtle, and most of all, is a short story. It's about 132 pages, so you can probably get through it in one sitting, actually. Another thumbs up about the story is that it is very clean, with no bad language. There is no on-page violence or sex, and that is always a big thumbs up. It was, like I said, it's a fun read, so you really do need to check this out. Okay, now back to this recipe. You saw me throw in some onions, some tomatoes, some garlic, yes, even some chocolate. I used, I believe it was 100% cacao in there, as well as some chicken broth. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna blend this on high. And let's not forget to throw in those chiles along with the water. And we are just gonna blend it on high until it's thoroughly mixed. Mexico has a long tradition of great and delicious street food. One of the dishes that best represents the beautiful state of Jalisco is this famous dish, Biiria Tacos. Birria is a wonderful traditional Mexican dish, originally made with goat meat actually, but also, like I stated before, you can use beef, veal, lamb, or pork like I'm using today. A brief pause, you're gonna take your sauce and pour it all over the meat, and then you're going to cover it with aluminum foil, and you're going to want to set your oven to about 400 degrees and let it bake for about an hour, depending on which types of meat you're going to use. And it can be served as a stew or as a taco filling. In gastronomical terms, the word birria means exquisite savory dish full of culture and tradition. Now, birria originates right at the center of the state of Jalisco in the town of Cocula, located northwest of Lake Chapala and southwest of Guadalajara. So if you're ever visiting Mexico on spring break or any other day of the year, make sure to pick up some of these tacos. From the beginning, Cocula, Jalisco is considered the birthplace of this dish we now call birria. The tradition of the Biiria family, that was a little tongue twister there, but the tradition of the Biiria families continue to this day, all with their unique recipe and style, which gives birth to birria and its distinct and delicious flavor. So now that the meat is done, it is time to chop it up into little pieces, just like we're about to go back to the story, and we're gonna dissect it and chop it up a little bit to make sure that I am not gonna share any spoilers with you, but just kind of give you a synopsis of what Don't Taco Bout Murder is all about. Again, it's taking us back with Emily and her uncle Cornelius as they're celebrating this festival, Day of the Dead, which is celebrated with the locals. And I decided to use this recipe because you need a snack while you're reading, right? And so I didn't know how to make sugar skulls or marigolds or anything like that, so I decided to just go with tacos. Now, these two, this pair, they can't get too comfortable with the celebrations, unfortunately, because as they befriend a local woman accused of having killed her husband, they believe that she is innocent. Now, this woman's name is Maria. But when another person dies in the same way that her husband was murdered, clearing Maria's name now becomes a challenge and a lot harder for the two sleuths to figure out. So as you immerse yourself in the story, you're going to immerse your tortillas in that same sauce in which you were roasting the meat in. That is your birria sauce. Very flavorful and packed full of deliciousness. And then you're going to take some of the meat and you're also going to reheat it on your stovetop and add a little bit more of that sauce in there as well. Put some cheese in there with a little bit of oil so that your tortillas come out nice and crispy, and fold them over. So can the likely pair, both Emily and Uncle C, find the serial killer? You're gonna have to find out by picking up a copy of this book, because I'm telling you, it is so much fun to read. Okay, go to your local library, pick up a copy, check it out on Amazon Kindle, or even through Audible. This is the first book in this new exciting cozy mystery. It is a series. So now is the moment of truth. We have some of this birria sauce here. I'm gonna go ahead and try this. I'm gonna dip it into my sauce. I believe there is about 2 more books, and I cannot wait to read those. I really did enjoy this book. I really did enjoy the writing style of the author. Again, what I loved about it, clean cut, and it's not a long read. It's basically, again, 132 pages, and so let me know your thoughts once you read it. Now let's get back to this dish. As you can see, I love this dish. Biiria Tacos is definitely one of those recipes that I will be remaking again in my kitchen. I am also going to be reading more from Mona Marple. Don't Taco Bout Murder was a fantastic read. Make sure to check it out. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit like and leave a comment. Until next time, bye.